Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Monday edition of the Computer America Show. We've got a great program lined up for you tonight in hour two. Of course, we're going to have the latest in computer and technology news, and that's brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And for those of you who are security conscious, you know, and collaboration, and you're worried about people watching you. It's actually Cybersecurity Month, so this is really in time with that. Content Raven is here with us in the first hour, and we're going to talk about how you can make sure that your files are secure. What you share stays easily secured between the people that you want to see it.
1 minute until showtime.
They'll be with us here in the first hour, so sit back and relax and enjoy the show, and we'll be starting momentarily.
Your show will go live in 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
So how was your weekend, Ben?
Weekend went well. I was sick all of it, but I think I am recovering or recovered mostly. So
Now, when
I
you
spent it trying to, not die.
when you say sick, you mean was it intestinal? You were just sneezing and coughing? What was
Well, if I've been watching enough news lately, I think it's Ebola.
Okay. Well, that's not really curable, So
Yeah, but apparently hot soup and cold milk really cleared it up. So might want to get people on the line for that. Either that, or it was a common cold. So
I'm opting for the common cold since you're still alive.
probably.
Yeah, because it was that the guy who caught Ebola the other, and one of the nurses
In Texas.
Yeah, they both died. That's just terrible.
Well, the gentleman in Texas, he went untreated. Like since he first started showing symptoms, he went untreated for 4 days before he checked into the hospital.
Yeah, that's not good.
So that's not good.
No. And I think one of the nurses who treated him, again, it was all supposed to be.
There were nurses in Spain that had contracted it.
Yeah, but the nurses that were treating him, one of them contracted, even though it was supposed to be completely isolated. She still got it and died as well. That's what I understand. So not very good.
Nope.
Yeah. So you think they would be on top of this at this point, but.
Well, it's not like something you can really see coming, and then you're like, oh no, it's a disease.
It's a big yellow thing, stringy thing. If it comes your way,
it's like tennis balls just
coming
at you.
You don't want to get near it. Just stay away from it. Well, other than that, it was a pretty uneventful weekend. No movies per se that I wanted to see. There are a couple
You keep saying no movies, but I had friends that went and saw the new Dracula movie, and they loved it.
They did.
Yes.
Why didn't you see it? You didn't want to go see it with your friends?
I did not want to get people sick. I'm actually one of those rare people that likes to stay in and not contaminate everyone else when I'm sick.
That's very conscientious of you. That is just, most people aren't like that. They want to see a movie. They don't care what other people. So that's very conscientious.
And plus, I take any opportunity I can to go and not go outside. So
Okay. Come on. I was giving you all this nice stuff, and then you said, well, anyway.
Selfish reason, always.
Uh, well, as I said, it's a Monday edition of the show, and we have an interesting week planned for you. Ben is fervently gathering news and technology stories for us in the second hour, because we try to keep them as cutting edge, as bleeding edge as we can, here. And we'll have those in the second hour. For those of you, let's get this out of the way. If you have a comment, question, or suggestion for anything we're talking about tonight, including our guests, why don't you pick up the phone, give us a call. It's 347-884-8881. That's 347, that's the area code, 884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. Email is live at computeramerica.com. It's set up for go on the air, live at computeramerica.com. You can write to us there as well. You can also join us in our live interactive IRC chat room from our homepage. At computeramerica.com, you'll see right there it says chat and live video. Just click that button. It's right on our homepage under the Interact with the Show. And you'll see the two things there. On the left is the live IRC chat room. It'll ask you for a nickname. You got to type that in. That's the name you'll be known by when you go into the chat room. Beneath that, there's a thing for a CAPTCHA code. That's either a number or a couple of words that just authenticates that you are a live human being, a robot. Then you just click the connect button, and your browser will move you into the Computer America chat room. It's just that simple. If you want to, we have a button beneath that for the IRC client. So depending upon the platform you're using and the browser you're using, these clients like Chatzilla or HexChat, they format the chat room more nicely. So it makes its own little window. It's really kind of nice. And if you plan to be in the chat room more frequently, you should use that. Okay, use those. That's optional, but it's nice. And then alongside of that is our live Computer America video streaming page. Okay, that means you can not only listen to the Computer America show, but you can watch us interact on the program. You'll see Ben, you'll see myself, sometimes you see the guests. So that's up there. And it's very simple to do, and we invite all of you to join us in our live Computer America interactive live video streaming. Okay? Anything else you want to mention before we get started, Ben?
No, I think we should just get to it.
All right. Well, okay, we'll do that. Let's do that. I don't know if you know, but October is Cybersecurity Month. So anything having to do with, security when you're online is up for grabs. It's a topic of discussion. And our guest this hour is from a company called Content Raven. Okay. Now, I'm not sure where they get the name from, but maybe we'll find out now. According to this, you can discover the freedom to share. According to our guest tonight, everyone is telling you how to share, sync, and protect your files, like SharePoint or maybe Dropbox or even Box. Well, they're saying it's no problem. With Snap-in Digital Rights Management, Content Raven works with whatever online file sharing solution you already use, so you can easily secure, easily track, and analyze what you share without interrupting established workflows. Now, here to explain further is Joe Moriarty. Joe is Content Raven's co-founder, and also he's the Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Joe, welcome into Computer America. How are you, sir?
Hey, Craig. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. So tell us a little bit about, first of all, where'd you get the name Content Raven? I think of a bird, or something.
Well, it's funny. It's a funny question. It is. We thought of some imagery. And we're a 100% cloud solution. Everything we built, all of our code, we live in the cloud. We interact in the cloud. And as I don't know if you knew this, but the raven is one of the most intelligent birds
yes.
of all the birds.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wanted the imagery of being able to protect content and the raven kind of overseeing your content in the cloud.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I sort of introduced what Content Raven is about, but I'd like for you to kind of explain maybe in your words what is it that Content Raven does for its consumers.
You bet, yeah. So we wanted to let people be able to share and distribute content really easily, but also be able to distribute content and keep control of it, or be able to put security controls on it. So, Craig, if I wanted to share a file with you, and it could be a document like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, it could even be a Google Doc, or I wanted to share a video with you, or an image, or even an HTML kind of packet, I could send it to you, and I could put specific controls on it. So I could say, I'm going to send this to Craig, but I don't want him to be able to forward it, save it, copy, paste, edit, and I want to put a dynamic watermark on it that said, has your email address on it, and then also want to be able to track when you opened it, how long you looked at it, what page you looked at specifically, and for how long, how many seconds you looked at each page.
Oh, okay.
So it's a very, you can really dial up security pretty tightly, and be able to see some really nice analytics on, what did you look at and how long did you look at it.
Okay, and so it's a live situation. In other words, if I'm looking at it in other words, you're tracking exactly what I'm doing with the file that I sent you.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so where did the idea for this come from? I mean, was this something that was it something that you wanted personally and you couldn't find it, or how did it come about?
Well, it was actually one of our co-founders, our CTO. His name is Vasu Ram, and I should be clear. This is really a business to business. Our market that we specifically work with, it happens to be business to business market. We do have consumers that sign up and use it every day, and we have a free product. You can actually go out and try it. But primarily we work with bigger companies. Our CTO had a business that was doing work for a large storage company, a hardware storage company up in our area.
All right.
We're headquartered outside of Boston, called EMC, big storage vendor. And they had an issue. They basically said, look, when you sign up and you buy our hardware, you then basically sign up and get training to go along with it. And what they were doing was video instructor-led training. So they would literally shoot video of a classroom, and an instructor would be giving the classes. They'd take that content, they'd put it together with some PDFs, some PowerPoint, they'd wrap it with HTML, they'd burn it on a DVD, and then when someone bought it, because you had to pay for it by seat, they'd ship it. They'd ship it FedEx to all over the world. What was happening is people would go in and they would just rip the files off of the DVD. So they'd find it on blogs and internets, other websites, and so they were losing revenue because they were supposed to be paying for it, but also intellectual property.
Sure.
They didn't want all their competitors to be able to see what they were doing. So that was the first kind of catalyst where we said, boy, we think we can solve this, and we can solve it in a very different way, which is let's get it off of the physical media and let's stream it from the cloud. So let's essentially store it in the cloud, stream it with security controls on it, and then we added on the analytics kind of after the fact. But that was also because they said, can you tell us if somebody opens it? Can you tell us if somebody how long they looked at it? So that it was really very much market driven, kind of big customer driven, and it started in training and education, and that was the real kind of catalyst for us getting going.
Well, now can you not do? Maybe I'm wrong here, and I could very well be. I mean, can you not do a lot of that with PDFs? I mean, when you send somebody PDF that they're going to have a password to go in and edit it. I don't know if they can get those demographics that you were saying about how many people looked. I don't think that's capable. But I mean, how are you different than sending a PDF file to somebody?
Yeah, I mean, sure. There's a couple kind of big things.
Okay.
Number one, if you send somebody a PDF, most people say, well, I'll put a password on a PDF. And then only that person's going to open it. There's a couple major flaws in that. Number one, once you enter the password, you can do whatever you want with the file. You can save it. You can forward it. You can email it. You can do it. You know, you have complete control of that file
That's
once
true.
it's sitting on your hard drive and
Very
you're
true.
on your own machine.
Very true.
Number two, if you Google, one of the biggest search terms in all of Google Analytics is breaking PDF, opening PDF, and you can find how to do it, literally, and you could do Google and you'll find a million tools that you can do to break it.
Okay.
So it's really quite simple to get around that security anyways. And then third is that people share usernames and passwords all the time. I mean, that's a huge issue. If you really are trying to secure down content, just share the password with somebody. So it really is kind of a misnomer that PDF is security at all. I mean, there is valuable uses of it at times, but if it's stuff that you really kind of want to control, it really is not going to do the job.
I had it was a double-edged reason. I mean, I knew all that, but I wanted you to explain why it's not as secure. Because I can do it with the PDF. No, you can't, and also you can't monitor. How long somebody looked at a particular page on a PDF. You can't. You don't have those kind of controls with something like that.
That's correct. Yeah. So there's actually two things. Number one, it's the analytics. You're not going to get page viewing analytics. How many seconds did this specific user spend on this specific page? And two, we love video. Like, video is actually a really growing segment for us. I mean, video is exploding in general for a variety of use cases, whether it's in the media and entertainment industry alone, but obviously, I think that's an obvious one. But you also have just executives that want to send out town hall briefings, people that want to send out training, people that want to send sales and marketing videos that engage with prospects better. So video is a huge growing file use that we really like, and we think there's a really big security component and analytics component that we bring to the table as well.
Sure. I mean, with things like YouTube, you can tell how many people have watched it, and you can lock it, but it's the analytics are extremely limited to what you can do. What you're talking about is a really very close control. Now, you mentioned business to business, but do you find that maybe law firms would use something like Content Raven?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I like to tell this funny story. A lot of times when I explain to people, I was at a networking event. We do, and I explained it, and they said, "Oh, so that's kind of like Snapchat for business." I said, well, that's interesting. I said, you know what? It is a little bit, in the sense that I can send a file to you, and I can revoke access at any time. I can make it disappear at any moment. So you can do that on demand. So I said, yeah. So that's interesting. But then, the other thing that's kind of funny is that night I went home and I just started kind of Googling Snapchat for business. Now, I was like, boy, is this a marketing idea? So I started thinking about it. And the first thing I found was a deposition video that had been leaked by the CEO of Snapchat.
Oh.
So, literally the CEO of Snapchat was being sued by one of his co-founders because, the other founder got ousted and, obviously took up a big lawsuit. That deposition video was on a mass publication. I mean, it was so it was like, that's a perfect use case, and that was one that we immediately went after with law firms. We said, guys, if you're going to take deposition videos, what they do most of the time is, kind of, they either store it locally, but a lot of people now, a lot of attorneys, store it in Dropbox. They'll just stick it out there in Dropbox and say, oh, hey, here's this folder, go look at this video. As soon as you do that and you give someone folder access, they can save it.
Yeah.
They can literally right-click, save as, and that video is on their hard drive.
Yeah.
And now they can do whatever they want with it. So to answer your question, yes, law. That was just one funny example where there are lots of opportunities within legal, even client confidentiality, just discussions, where I have a friend that was in the Department of Justice, and he would have discussions with his clients. He said, please do not forward this email to anyone. This is our strategy of how we're going to litigate. And he would always cross his fingers and put it in a PDF, and say, oh my gosh, please don't forward this. So that's another one. It could just be communications internally that you want to make sure don't get forwarded.
Yeah, There you go, Ben. I know you're just a big Snapchat user, so it's not as secure as you thought it was.
It's it just takes privacy, and it's not so much keeping things hidden. It's just making sure that only the people that you want to have access to them have access to them, and it's not Snapchat did it right, but it's not anything new. It's not anything that people aren't asking for.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So obviously you have outstanding analytics. You can tell who's looking at what pages, how long they're looking at that page. I mean, that's an amazing feedback. So how does Content Raven work with? Because it's working with these online file sharing things like Dropbox or Box. We mentioned a couple of the names out there that or SharePoint. So how does Content Raven work with these companies? Do you have some sort of agreement with them, or is it something that you can just work with? How does that happen?
Well, it depends. It depends on the company, largely. But the basics are. It's no secret. This is an exploding market. Online file sync and share is huge. If you just look at the amount of money that Dropbox has raised, the amount of money that Box has raised, the amount of users. I mean, gosh, I think Dropbox is over 100 million users now and growing every single day. It's an awesome product. It's stuff. It's where we use it. I mean, we use it internally all the time. It's like, look, you put files in the cloud, you can access them anywhere. It's excellent. We think that actually, if you want to collaborate with someone, you want to say, all right, look, I'm going to put a bunch of files in the cloud. Here's the folder. You can go access them. Let's go work on them together. Elegant, beautiful solution to do that stuff. Where we found there was a gap in that online file sync and share was when someone said, man, this stuff is kind of sensitive. This stuff is fairly, I don't want it to be shared, but I have to get it out to the mass market, right? I need to now distribute it broadly. There just wasn't a way to do that. So when we looked at the size of the market, the adoption rate of everyone, how they were going to cloud and storing stuff in the cloud, we said, this is, from a strategic standpoint, we should plug into Box, Dropbox, OneDrive, SharePoint, G Drive, which, by the way, Google Drive is we offer a free trial. By far, it's G Drive that gets the most usage.
Right.
And internationally too. It's really crazy. It's like what we found is that over I think Europe by far is the kind of the most amount of downloads we've seen of people using it. There is this inherent need, or people just think, I don't know, maybe they're more security conscious or security minded, but it's just kind of an interesting side note there.
Yeah.
But we saw, this is a big opportunity to be able to plug into these ones. Now, Box has APIs that we're able to just automatically plug in. So from Content Raven, we have our own user interface. We have our own web application. You just go out, and essentially you connect your account to Box or Dropbox or G Drive or OneDrive, and you just, you have to put in your credentials, username and password for that. And then what we do is we replicate the files. We don't move the files. We're not taking your files out of that storage platform that you're already using. We essentially just use with the metadata, and we say, all right, here's all the files, the names, the folders, whatever you have, and then you can select the file and just add the rules to it. So how long do you want to give this recipient access for? So you can set it to a number of days, a specific date. So you can say, I'm only going to give Craig access until October 31st. And then October 31st, it would go away. It would almost like kind of Netflix type functionality.
Sure.
You can then say, how many devices am I going to let view this on? You could set it to 1. So the first device you viewed on, whether it be your laptop, home computer, iOS, Android, mobile device, that would be it. You can only view it from that device. That's it. So we can lock it down to a specific machine, or you can make it 2 or 3 or 4, however many you want. You can turn print on. You can turn print off. You can do dynamic watermarking, so your name comes up across the screen as you're viewing it, which is honestly, that's a kind of a security deterrent for things like screen capture. You can never eliminate someone taking a phone out of their pocket and taking a picture of their screen. I mean, everyone's got iPhone or camera phones now.
Sure.
You can't stop that.
Well,
but
well,
if it has your name on it across it.
Well, what about? I'm going to cut you off, but what about like a screenshot? You know, there are these little utilities you can do that'll take a snap. You can use the operating system, or you can buy these little third-party programs that will. You can actually take a screenshot or a particular window and take a snapshot of it.
Same thing, yeah. I mean, you can never stop all of them.
Okay.
That's the basics. We have done so much R&D on preventing print screen, preventing
Right.
Control P, all
Sure.
all of the we went and disabling keystroke and all that stuff. But again, we'd always came back to it. We were always like, well, gosh, why somebody could just literally take a picture of their screen whenever.
Yeah.
Like I can't jump out of the computer and smack the phone out of your hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for us, the dynamic watermarking is what became a critical component of that, which added traceability and trackability to people.
So in other words,
So
when I'm looking at a page or an image in this, then I mean the watermark is like diagonal across it, so you actually see what it's from.
Yeah, exactly right. And the sender, the person who's distributing the content, has control over opacity. So how dark, or do you want to make it font size, positioning? So you can say I want it diagonal, or I just want it in the header, I want it in the footer, and so dynamic watermarking on documents is very widely used by our customers, but also video. We actually, some of our early customers were media and entertainment companies, and these are the same folks that used to send out a DVD of like a trailer or a new movie or a new show that was coming out, and that was a real pain for them to do that. Where now they can use Dropbox. They can say, here's the MP4 file. Here's the press that I want to share it with pre-launch. I'm going to put a dynamic watermark on it. I'm going to be able to track that they viewed it and how long they looked at it. I can tell if they didn't look at it. And if they didn't, we can ping them again. We can say, hey, this is going to be a great show. You should really look at it again.
Yeah.
So that's a really, in the media and entertainment, Dropbox is used, a huge adoption rate.
Well,
media and entertainment.
What kind of response you get? If you when people get you have a client, you say, hey, you didn't look at the page, and they go, yeah, so how did you know that?
Yeah, it's funny. We don't we try to be very we try to say, look, obviously you got to have some tact and but you can gently remind people that
you need to look at this.
Hey, did you look at it? Are you sure? Are you sure you looked at it? I don't know if you did.
Exactly.
So.
Okay. Ben, you were saying something? Oh.
No, I'm good.
He's got a big grin on his face.
Well, the whole thing just caught me. It's funny.
Okay. All right. So basically, you can do that. So you work with, again, how many services do you work with at this point? You mentioned Dropbox and Box and SharePoint, and how many do you actually work with?
Those are the four primary: Box, Dropbox, OneDrive, G Drive, which are really the four biggest.
Yeah.
But for example, Amazon came out with their own recently called Zocalo or Zocalo. I'm not exactly. I maybe you guys know. I don't know if it's Zocalo or Zocalo, but I think it's Zocalo.
Zocalo, yeah.
But so I mean, Amazon is entering the fray, and we'll just continue to monitor it. I mean, we invested a tremendous amount of engineering time into our APIs. So we try to make it, number one, very easy for us to integrate to other solutions. I'll give you one quick, for instance.
Yeah, sure.
We work with another big technology company, and again, this happens to be a training use case, but they had invested a bunch of money in a training portal, web portal. So they would issue someone a username and password. They would go sign up for live labs. So they'd spin up live labs where someone could go, use the product, practice, do their stuff. And they said, we have all of our manuals out there. And our manuals used to be The problem was people would click on the PDF, it would download right to their machine, and again, they would find it all over the place. And they said, man, I wish we could just open up a window that could view it, but they couldn't save it or forward it or do anything to it. So with our APIs, you don't have to use our web app. We can just, when someone logs into their web portal now, we know that who they are.
Mm-hmm.
We can display the content directly within their web portal,
Mm-hmm.
add all of the security controls. Again, how long do they have access, dynamic watermarking, do you want to let them print it?
Sure.
And by the way, they're okay with printing because they used to print manuals and ship them FedEx, and it was super expensive.
Ah.
So they said, you know what? I don't want to ship that stuff anymore. But if someone else wants to print it on their own, go for it. We're all for it. But it prints with the watermark, right? So it prints with the watermark right on it.
Yeah.
So we're able to launch our service, apply all the rules automatically right within their infrastructure, and solve a bunch of those issues, which is, don't let somebody save it to their machine, add the security controls, give them the analytics. They never knew if anybody looked at their stuff.
All right.
And I'm not kidding, this is kind of funny. They actually found with the analytics that it was some huge percentage, like 75% of the calls that they got to their call center, their help center,
Mm-hmm.
was from like chapter 3 on, because no one was reading past chapter 3.
Really?
So now what they do is they send out little reminders. They send out these reminders and say, hey, gosh, you know what? Chapter 4 is really, really great. It solves a bunch of the stuff you're going to ask us anyways.
And they can monitor who's reading Chapter 4. And if they aren't reading Chapter 4, they can say, hey, you really need to read Chapter 4. Joe, listen, we're up against the break, so we're gonna break for a few minutes and then be back, okay? This is the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. Ben and I are talking to Content Raven about their digital rights management software. We'll be right back with them. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No Hair Removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No Hair Removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented Thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Greetings. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America of the unannounced updates to PhoneSoap. The product itself only about a year old. It's a small flat case that you can fit almost any kind of cell phone into and charge it. And while it's charging, front and back UVC lights sanitize it. If you've ever seen a handset under black light,
Yeah.
you may know how many germs
Ew.
you're putting in your ear and holding up to your face every day. This cleans it. Cleans it, gets it ready to use. Here's what's new. It now supports USB 3 charging levels, which means if you have a Galaxy S5 or you get a Galaxy S6, which support those levels, you can now recharge faster. It now has separate blue and green pilot lights. Blue tells you when the 5-minute sanitizing cycle is up. Green tells you when your phone doesn't need to get any more charging done.
Huh.
Now, 2 colors for the case itself, black or white. And only 1 color for germs. They're gone. Bottom line, the new update, Phone Soap, about $65, sometimes less online. Stops you from holding all those germs against your face. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Oh, what's life without a few germs held against your face? Welcome back to the Computer America Show. That was Marty Winston with a brand new News Tip Bulletin Review. But here in the first hour of Monday's Computer America, we have Content Raven, and we have Joe with us, telling us all about it. And let's say that I get that all the DRM and that kind of stuff on these files. If you wanted to send out a mass mailer that you really didn't care, you're actually you're hoping that they forward it, or they save it to their computer, or they do something else with it. Like, is there a way to use like the service Content Raven? Send that send it to your same mailing list.
Yeah, it's funny. We had a customer of ours ask that exact question, where they said, hey, we love that we can send files with a bunch of security on it. What we're really interested in is, can I send a file and let somebody forward it? And then can you tell me who they forward it to? So that actually, we said, well, that's interesting. We think we can do that. We had to do some development where we essentially had to take and make some switches to turn security off. And then add a share capability kind of within the file itself. So we did that, and it ended up being a very big use for sales and marketing.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have these outstanding analytics, and unparalleled in many that I've seen, quite frank. And so if you're a marketing guy and you want to know, I'm sending out a newsletter and I want to find out everything I can about everybody who's looking at this my newsletter, that would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And look, there's other services that do similar. There's guys like Constant Contact, where you can send out, for the small and medium businesses that can send automated emails out, and you can tell if someone opens the email.
Yeah.
There's another company in the Boston area called HubSpot, actually just went public.
What?
And they've got a product called Signals within HubSpot, and they can tell if someone opened the email.
Yeah, we've got something like for our newsletter. Not only can tell that they've opened it, we can also tell how many clicks that they've done and what they clicked on. So we can get that, although we don't really use it. The newsletter service that we use actually just makes that available.
Yeah. So what we're doing is trying to take it one step further, and specifically on a file. And the other example I'll use is this. I'll give you 2 examples. One is so HubSpot. There's a bunch of marketing automation tools. People call it Marketing 2.0, or HubSpot likes to call it inbound marketing. And we love it. I'm a huge believer in it. It's the whole thing where it's saying like, hey, don't just cold call people, because it drives, never works, drives people crazy, interrupts their day. Don't do it. Mm-hmm. Create great content, create great videos, create great white papers, put infographics out there, create content that people want to look at, that is valuable, right? So that kind of fit in exactly really, really well with what we were doing. We were saying, oh, hey, we love that. Go create a great PDF, go create a great file. And what a lot of people do is they'll put it on their website, and they'll say, you can look at this file, but you have to give us your username. And you have to put in, first name, last name, email. And then if you do that, great, here it is. Have at it. Well, go look at it, right?
Yeah.
So what we do is plug Content Raven in right there. And then so you're now viewing that file. You're looking at the white paper, you're looking at the infographic, you're watching the video, the demo video, or whatever maybe you put up there. And those are the analytics that everyone loves now, because they're saying, my goodness, I can measure engagement. And that's like this whole sales and marketing
I got this
shift.
Well, I got this great idea. I mean, you should take Content Raven, and because it's such a wonderful marketing tool, you should come out with something called Marketing Raven. Oh, wait, you did that. And it just came out recently. So tell us about Marketing Raven.
Well, I just told you that the catalyst, the idea for it was again a customer. Thank goodness we have a few.
Yeah.
And they essentially said exactly what you guys just asked me, Craig, which was I want to send this and I want to just know if people forward it. They specifically they used Salesforce.com. So Salesforce.com is a huge CRM system. All large businesses use it, and they wanted their salespeople to send proposals. Well, did they look at the pricing page so then we can be prepared for the pricing discussion? Did they look at our technical diagrams so we should have a technical resource ready to answer questions? So that was actually the first one where they said, we want to be able to use Content Raven and monitor what they're looking at, and also, did they forward it to the CEO? Did they forward it to some other decision maker, and then we can get some other intelligence on whether they're interested or not. So that was kind of the first use case, and then it became to this second use case, which was like, I want to put a white paper on our website, a couple of use cases on our website, a couple of case studies, stuff like that, and let people view it. But I'm going to know when they're looking at it. I'm going to know exactly what they're looking at. Then you can, when you reach out to somebody, you can say, hey, I noticed you were looking at some of our API documentation. I know you were looking at some of our, about this specific product. So just gives you a better way to engage. Be more human. Be a little bit more understanding of what people are looking for, and that was Marketing Raven. So then we launched Marketing Raven, which is kind of funny because at the core, it's the exact product. It's the exact same product. It really is. We just have a specific spin towards the sales and marketing executive, whoever wants, users.
It seems to me like you're taking the security factor in Content Raven, kind of removing that and opening it up, and then keeping everything else in place. Is that a fair assessment, would you say?
Exactly right. Yep. Exactly right. Yep. So we dial. So I said it earlier. What we have the ability to do is really dial up security very tightly, or you can dial it back, almost removing most of the security, like letting sharing, no watermarking, let them print, many machines as you want.
Right.
Never expires.
Yeah.
But keep the analytics, keep the tracking, keep the analytics, and that's exactly what we're doing.
And that's Marketing Raven.
And that's Marketing Raven.
Exactly. Yep. So it really, you almost had to reverse. I mean, all the hard work that you put into Content Raven sounds like you're saying, let's take it all out, and just keep the analytics, which was the other part, and make this whole other product.
That's correct. And there was development. I mean, we had to there was some logic we had to, when we were doing that, we really had to think about it. We were like, okay, can we remove this stuff? Is it going to work? And so it actually took a fairly significant amount of engineering time to do that. And then we had to think about, okay, can we make this a switch? Can we not make this a switch? So yeah, there was a lot of effort that we had to put in to think through.
Wow. You would think it wouldn't
kind
be
of that dial.
Yeah,
dialing it up or dialing it back.
You wouldn't think it would be that way because you're the guys who put it in. You should probably be the guys who could take it out. Or put a switch in it or something. But maybe it's not that simple.
Yeah. It's funny. I would say I said that in so many. I said, guys, I don't get it. Why can't we just rip this? I don't get it.
Take it out.
And then an hour later we'd have a whiteboard full of algorithms showing people telling me why we can't do it and why it's hard, and
Oh,
so
boy.
it's never quite as easy as you think. Is I guess my answer.
All right, but you have Marketing Raven now, and you got it. And now, so I guess now will Marketing Raven work with marketing automation platforms?
Yeah, it sure will. In fact, that's one of our strategies is to integrate to these guys because we recognize that those are platforms. They do a lot. You know, they show you all of your social media. They'll show your blog. They'll show you your landing pages. It's a true platform. You know, and we recognize we're a component of that platform, albeit we think it's a very powerful one. Where we'll be able to influence lead scoring and engagement, and we'll be able to tell you what resonates with people. I've spoke to so many VPs of marketing at companies where they said, I just want to know, is my content working? We spend so much money creating this stuff. Like, I spend a lot of money on an infographic. I spend a lot of money on a white paper writing it. Is anyone looking at it? Because right now they know if somebody downloads it, they do not know if someone actually reads it. So when we can tell them, hey, no one is reading this, they download it, but then nobody reads it, it's like, okay, we're not writing the right stuff. Let's write something better. Or they write a white paper and they say, everyone reads like page 2, 3, and 4. They don't read anything else though. It says, wow, why don't we expand that part of the content? Let's write more of that topic. So those folks have found really, really big value in just understanding what are people reading. So then what we decided is let's integrate to those tools. Let's integrate to HubSpot, Marketo, Eloqua, Pardot, which is owned by Salesforce, ExactTarget, owned by Salesforce. We said let's go integrate to those guys and just basically push our analytics directly into those platforms. So that's been our approach, has been to try to say, people are already using those platforms, they've already invested in it. Let's take the Marketing Raven analytics and make it more valuable and
Joe,
give you those engagement analytics.
Joe, and this may be a naive question, I don't, because I'm not really getting it. Why would someone download something and then not read it? I mean, I don't get that. Why would?
No, hey, look,
why
that's
do
a
people
good
do
question. I mean, but here's what happens. Someone gets tasked with a VP of marketing, goes to one of their hires out of college, that's a year or two out of college, and they say, we need to go research something. We need to go look at something. Go find a bunch of information, compile it, and then we're going to review it in 2 weeks. Well, they go out and they go download a bunch of stuff. They say, I'm going to look at this product, this product, this product, this product. They download it, but half the time they don't look at it. They don't read it. They get sidetracked. They get another priority comes up. They don't get to it. It's just what happens. I mean, everyone's so busy that you don't know if people are looking at it. And that is actually exactly what they realized. They said, boy, it sure looks like people are interested because they downloaded something, but it turns out they never looked at it. It turns out they were never interested. Then then a salesperson goes and follows up with them, and they don't get anywhere, and they end up wasting a bunch of time. So we're able to tell you, look, this person actually downloaded it, but they didn't look at it ever. Don't waste your time there. Whereas this person looked at it, forwarded it to somebody else, went back and looked at it again, went back and looked at page 7 again. So
you can track it.
It's kind of next level.
You can track it that accurately. That is amazing. I mean, how are you doing that? I mean, usually once you send something, it's gone and all strings are cut. How are you holding on?
Yeah,
to
that's really the it's not secret sauce, but that is the architecture of why it's powerful.
Wow.
We've developed, again, when you store content, or really fundamentally what we're doing, Craig, is we are streaming content from the cloud. Whether it's and people hear the word streaming, they always think video. We use the word streaming even if it's document, because we are live streaming it during a session, and we have our own viewer. It's an HTML5 viewer that you're able to launch on any browser, any device.
I'm getting it.
And it totally looks and feels like any other viewer. Super easy to use, requires no installation, no plugin.
Got it.
That was a big component of what we're doing. We didn't want to have it be cumbersome for where there's any installation whatsoever. And then because it's being streamed live within our viewer, that's how we're able to capture all of the live analytics.
Right, because so you're not really, they're not getting the whole file and it's just sitting on there and then they're rating at their leisure. Anytime they're looking at this, they're doing it through your viewer. It's the only way they can look at it, and because they're doing it that way and you're streaming back and forth between you and the reader in the cloud, you can keep bit by bit information about what they're doing with it, because they're all the information is all coming from you. So that makes perfect sense. Okay. So it's really not file security in the traditional sense, in that they download a file and then it's on their hard drive, and they can time shift and look at it and do whatever they want to afterwards. That's not what's happening with cloud, with Content Raven or Marketing Raven. It's actually a real time. In other words, if there's no internet connection, they can't look at this stuff. That's basically what it is.
Well, actually, we can't. We have the ability to make it available offline.
Then how do you get how do you get the analytics then if you're offline? How are they doing that?
We queue them up. We have a way where we can queue them up and store them, when they reconnect to any wireless network, we suck it back.
Okay.
And in fact, when they reconnect to any wireless network, if the file timed out, if they changed security controls, if the file changed itself, like a newer version came out, we can automatically update it. So on mobile, we have a native app that's free for our customers that we can actually brand. And so, if you go into airplane mode, you're on an iPad or you're on a Google Android device, we actually do move the file to the device in that instance, and you can still view it offline. In a web browser, we're able to use essentially, we're able to use it's proprietary. We can still make the file available for viewing when you're not connected, when you don't have any wireless internet. Essentially, we have a download button where it says download. It downloads it. You open your browser. We still present it, but and then we queue the analytics. And then when you reconnect to any wireless, we pull it back. We suck it back.
Okay. All right. So basically. So, and I can see why we explained why this is great for sales efforts, and so when you don't wind up doing cold calls, even you can really target your marketing demographics. You can see before you pick up the phone and make that call, you're going to see not only who read this material, but how much, what they did with it, how many times they reread it, if they forwarded it to somebody. And that, by the way, when they forward it to somebody, you're keeping track of that too, right? If it gets forwarded, they have to use that same reader, so you're going to get all those analytics for to the person who was forwarded to, right?
Yeah, when they do forward it, they have to enter the recipient's email address.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So within our viewer, we say, hey, this is cool, I want to share with Ben, or this is cool, I want to share with Craig. Mm-hmm. You'd have to enter. It's almost like, if you go onto the New York Times or Boston.com or Mercury News, whatever it is, and you say, I want to share this, you put somebody's email address in there, right?
Yep.
Same thing. We use that exact same kind of workflow.
But when they forward it, then they have to have the reader as well, otherwise they can't read it, correct?
Yeah, but we automatically launch it. There's no installation. They don't have to go through any process at all. We can automatically present it with our viewer.
They just double click on it and they see it.
Mm-hmm.
Very
exactly right. It's a link. Yep, it's a link that they're able to click, and we automatically launch the viewer, and there it is.
Okay, that's it.
I should note too, within our viewer, there's note taking, highlighting, annotating. So you can even store those notes. So the next time you view the document or a video, your notes are there. So we do store that as well.
See, all these points that you're making really, I think, makes Content and Marketing Raven really different from other analytic tools that are out there, isn't it?
We sure try. Again, we think that the way we're doing it at the file level, at the user level, and the fact that we can handle both documents, video, images, does differentiate us. We think we're the only company that offers this type of service whether it be for the security application or the marketing application, and works with that broad range of content. Again, document security,
Sure.
images.
Now,
And then when you add the analytics, those are kind of the key
yeah.
differences than what we think anything that's out there.
Now, and how long have you been out there now? You say how long has this been available?
Well, so we founded the company originally in July of 2011.
Okay.
Focused 100% on security, which was our DNA, and it still is our focus. We still have, that's really it's a huge focus of what we're doing. Marketing Raven, the sales and marketing use case, launched only about 3 months ago.
Okay.
So the marketing.
That was a giant.
But we had people using it for months before that.
Sure, it was a giant about face, which you had to do, which I think is really an interesting story. What kind of response are you getting? I mean, with Marketing Raven, and you're getting a lot of people using it.
We are, yeah. We have a ton of interest, and again, it's both from salespeople and marketing people. The marketing people that we are finding is they really want to know, is our content resonating? Does this stuff work? Are people reading it? And that influences, again, what should we be writing going forward? What are people, measuring that engagement? For salespeople, it's measuring, are they reading my proposal?
Yeah.
Are my leads engaged? What do my leads care about? So we're getting really good response and fairly good adoption. Again, we haven't. It's still early, but the early feedback that we've had is, boy, this is really changing how I interact with people. It's giving me a lot more intelligence. I feel like connect with people a little bit better. I understand what they care about. So it's been very, very positive.
All right. Now, so tell us. I know it's relatively new. I mean, what do you see as the next big thing for down the road a piece?
Well, there's a couple big things we're working towards. One is the way that people collaborate today. If you think about, Craig, if you had to work on a document with someone back in the day, you would maybe it'd be a Microsoft Word document, and you'd use track changes. Remember that?
Yeah.
Where you'd have the the stuff, have the step changes,
Sure.
All this. That in our eyes is going to go away, and it's going to be a more live social collaboration where you'll be able to share documents. Google Docs does a very good job with it now, where if you're in a Google Doc or even a spreadsheet, and you're collaborating with someone, you can actually see live what they're doing. So we think social collaboration and how you work with content in the cloud, but being able to have specific security controls, having specific roles and rights within people within groups, and how they're going to work with content is the future. And we're going to be there. We're going to be doing that. We'll be able to share notes and be able to share live collaborations and be able to share security roles and rights within that type of cloud environment. So we think that that's a really big opportunity. We also think that the cloud storage guys are definitely not going anywhere, and that bigger enterprises have not really adopted. They've got specific users within big companies that are using Dropbox, using Box, using G Drive, OneDrive, but it really hasn't been widely adopted at a big enterprise level. So we think that we fill a big security gap in those services and is a big opportunity for us. So when you add in, we'll provide the security for big enterprise, kind of B2B file sharing and distribution, and then the collaboration. We think that that's where we've got a really big opportunity. And there's one more that we haven't really gone after, but I think healthcare is a massive opportunity, specifically because of the electronic health record, because of telehealth and the way that doctors are now interacting with their patients over web conferences now, over video conferences now. There's a bunch of HIPAA stuff that you can't keep a file on a computer. So we think there's a huge opportunity in healthcare that we're also going to be
makes a lot of
helping.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. We got about a minute left. What's the cost to use something like Content Raven or Marketing Raven, or can you quickly, or do they need to different plans or what?
Yeah, it's always a subscription. Okay, so it's always a monthly or annual subscription. It ranges, basically, if you're an individual guy that just wants to use it to send out financial statements, or somebody that wants to do it, I mean, you can go use it for, less than $10 a month. You can add it on to Dropbox or Box or G Drive for less than $5 per user per month.
All right.
So we like to think that you can get really, really very significant security.
Sure.
And get started easily. But if you're a big company, and you need to have branding and
sure,
thousands and thousands of users, it can be tens of thousands of dollars per month. So there's a good range, and we work in all of those scenarios.
Makes sense. If you want more information about Content Raven or Marketing Raven, just go to computeramerica.com, click on the show notes button. You'll see today's show, which is October the 13th, and we have a link right there to Content Raven, and you can check it out for yourself. Joe, I want to thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Very interesting stuff and extremely useful too. You've got some great ideas here, and I know Marketing Raven's about 3 months old, but I think you're going to have some good results with that. I know a lot of people out there want that information, and you make it available to them. That's really cool.
Hey, thanks so much. It was my pleasure. Really appreciate the time, guys.
Hey, Joe, listen, thanks again, and good luck to you. Come back sometime. Let us know how things are going along with Marketing Raven, okay?
I'd love to. Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Have a great night. Bye.
All right, there you go. All right, so Content Raven, and again, you can see all that at our website at computeramerica.com. Again, thanks to Joe for being here with us. Now, coming up in hour 2, we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And what are some of the stories that we got coming up in the next hour, Ben?
Oh, good question. It's not coming to me off the top of my head. I don't have the stories in front of me, but
well, I have some here.
Someone actually figured out a way to boost Wi-Fi signal by 5 times what it used to be.
Wow.
That's a huge breakthrough. Actually, it's like a day of breakthroughs. Someone figured out a way to charge batteries. No, batteries have a 70% greater capacity and charge in 2 minutes.
I like that story that there's an app out there that turns your smartphone into a cosmic ray detector. That's cool.
That too. There's great stories all over the place.
Lots of stories coming up. Also, a brand new news tips bulletin review from Marty Winston. It's all coming at an hour 2 of Computer America.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
Again, thanks to Content Raven for being with us here in the first hour. If you missed any of that, really interesting application where you can monitor, especially in marketing, you want to see how many times people have read what page, and how many times they did it and who they forwarded to. If you have newsletters, I mean, that's a very, very useful thing that gives you extremely minute analytics, very detailed analytics. You can hear more about that. Of course, Content Raven does the same thing, but they slap on securities on top of that.
And of course, it's meant for the business side of it, not the consumer side, because when we talk about the same tools for consumers, and then that becomes invasion of privacy.
Yes.
But in the business world, this is all very important information.
And we want you to know that there's something like this out there. You need to know. Anyway, as I said, you can listen to it again. Just go to our Computer America homepage at computeramerica.com. And right under the Archives menu, just click on that, and you can listen to all of our shows. Our audio archives available at Blog Talk Radio. You can just click; it'll take you right to our archives page. You can also click for our RSS feed. Our audio archives are available at iTunes. That's all working now. Thank goodness. our video archives on our own YouTube channel. You can watch the show. That's all up there at our archives page at computeramerica.com. Everything you really need to know about the show is waiting for you right there at our homepage at computeramerica.com. Okay, so we're into hour 2 here, and again, we'll keep the phone lines open. If you have a comment or question, 347-884-8881. We'll try and get you through. Again, congratulations to our Friday a show reminder winner, Jaretta Foster, who won the Logitech wireless glass touchpad T650. So all that is, again, you can enter in all of our contests. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the program. But unless there's anything else you want to talk about, Ben, we should probably do some computer news. What do you think?
No, I think there's plenty of great stories that we should get to.
Yeah, what did you think of how Marty Winston said hello tonight in the first one, anyway?
The Bonjour one?
Yeah, no, you missed it. He went hello. Okay.
No, he said Bonjour.
No, he didn't. He went. What? He goes.
Greetings.
Greetings, that's what he said. He didn't say hello, he said greetings.
He had greetings, okay. All right, so let's do some computer news stories. Tonight's Computer and Technology News is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right. You heard me, compadre. For free. Everything at the Slimware Utilities website is completely free. We're not talking freemium model or, crippled and after 10 days, you have to sign. None of that stuff. It's all free. Everything is free, and everything will clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. They got their backup software, their rec image. Here's what you do. Go to slimwareutilities.com, download everything. Why not? It's free. Under no obligation. It's free. If you don't use them, keep them, because you're going to need them eventually. And then when you do need them, you're going to be really thankful that you have them waiting for you on your computer. Slimwareutilities.com. Download them all. You'll be happy that you did, and you'll thank us for it. Slimwareutilities.com. Okay. And we've got our in our computer news here. I'm going to lead off with a popular science story. An app that turns your smartphone, a cosmic ray detector. Wow.
Sounds fancy.
Yeah, it says donate your phone's capabilities to science. Plus, if physicists use data from your phone in their paper, then you will get credited as an author. How cool is that? So it says do you want to turn your this is Francie Deep wrote this. Want to turn your smartphone into a cosmic ray detector? Well, yes, there's an app for that. Cosmic rays found in smartphones, or CRAFIS, uses smartphones and tablets' standard camera equipment to detect some of the super rare particles that shower down on the Earth when a high-energy cosmic ray hits the atmosphere. Now, CRAFIS collects that data, then sends them on to physicists at the University of California's Irvine and Davis campuses for analysis. Now, you don't have to do anything yourself except download CRAFIS. The app is supposed to work a bit like the SETI at home. Remember that? Search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or even folding at home. Two programs that allowed ordinary people to donate idle computer memory to massive science projects. In this case, CRAFIS is designed to switch on when it senses the phone is plugged in and has been idle for a few minutes. That's usually about 90% of the time for your phone, right, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah. One fun bonus is that if you sign up for CRAFIS with your full name and scientists use the data from your phone in a scientific paper, man, you're home free. I mean, you can sit back, relax, and the science team will list you as one of the paper's authors. Anyway, the CRAFIS website promises this. Now, users may also choose to send their data anonymously if you don't want all that fame and glory, Now, the app works by detecting high-energy photons, which are abundant in cosmic ray-induced particle showers, plus a type of particle called a muon. Photons are particles of light, which cell phone cameras are already built to detect. camera equipment is tuned for photons in the visible light spectrum, but they still work for the higher energy photons present in particle showers, according to a paper the California team wrote. The paper, by the way, hasn't been peer-reviewed. In addition, the team wrote, photodiodes and cameras will also interact with muons, which are charged particles that easily pass through buildings, phone cases, people, and other obstacles. Besides the phone's camera, Crafis will also use the phone's GPS to locate where the particles land, and the phone's Wi-Fi to send data to servers. So cosmic rays hit the atmosphere regularly, but scientists still know very little about the highest energy rays. Where do they come from? What do they want? Where are they going? Will they leave anything behind? Can they tell us about the early universe, the secrets to the universe? The number 42. A number of astronomical observatories measure cosmic rays as they come in, including the Pierre Auger Observatory in Argentina, but the California team thinks its app could be another, cheaper way to study cosmic rays. Now, the app is in beta testing right now, but you can sign up to try it right now on the Crafis website. It's supposed to be available for Apple and Android devices. That's Crafis, C-R-A-Y-F-I-S, in case you're interested in the spelling of that. And there you go, another popular story from Popular Science. I think it's very interesting, very cool.
I mean, there are much harder ways of getting yourself published as a contributor to a scientific journal.
Yes, there would be.
I mean, you could go to school for 8 years and, find yourself in a lab and actually do research.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I guess you could download an app and you can get published.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah.
One way or the other.
Would you put this on your smartphone?
Yeah, it's cheaper than school.
Okay.
I've always been a fan of crowdsourcing, like using the technology that we have just so readily available and crowdsourcing it. Like there's a SETI project where you download a screensaver, and every time your computer goes into screensaver mode,
Mm-hmm.
It donates your computer's processing power and graphics,
Mm-hmm.
and it actually renders processes and renders data for SETI project, because it's scanning a lot of space.
Mm-hmm.
So just little scientists are trying to crowdsource because they don't always have access to those supercomputers that we hear so much about. They're so fast, they're so powerful, but there's only like 25, 30, 40 of them.
Yep.
So not every scientist out there is going to be able to use that. So crowdsourcing resources is sometimes the best chance these scientists have.
Okay. There you go. I think it's a great idea.
Yep. Also, scary to know that we're being bombarded by space.
There's one story that I'm really dying to do here, but you go ahead. Should I do it, or are you going to go?
Do I know which one it is?
About the batteries?
Yeah, you can wait. I gave you the opportunity, but no, you skipped over it.
Why
So
were
you gotta wait until this one.
Okay.
So before Craig does his breaking news story, I have one here.
Yeah.
This one from Max and PC, and it's how Wi-Fi is about to get another big leap.
Yes. Okay.
Might even be the leap home. We never know. Samsung supercharges Wi-Fi, develops standard that's 5 times faster.
5 times faster.
That's faster. So want faster Wi-Fi? Well, hang on to your shoes because Samsung just announced the development of a 60 gigahertz Wi-Fi technology that claims will improve today's speed by a factor of 5. Under ideal conditions, there's your note, you would be able to transfer a 1 gigabyte movie between devices in about 3 seconds. In under 3 seconds. The technology would also allow for uncompressed high-definition videos to stream from mobile devices to TVs in real time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of data. So Samsung says that the 802.11ad, no, not AC. AC is the current,
AD is after death. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And by the way, AD isn't even in use anymore. It's now, what is it? BC and CE. Before Common and Common Era, it's BCE and CE.
All is
so there's no more AD BC.
Okay.
So 802.11ad 60 gigahertz Wi-Fi standard can hit data transfer speeds up to 4.5 gigabits a second or 575 megabits a second. That's roughly 5 times faster than the 866 megabits per second or 108 megabits per second offered on several of today's high-end 802.11ac equipment. The secret sauce behind Samsung's blazing fast recipe is the elimination of code-channel interference on the 60 gigahertz band, no matter how many devices are on the network. In essence, Samsung is closing the gap between the theoretical and actual speeds.
Cool.
Yeah, they have a quote here. They're doing breakthrough stuff. Good for them. Another key to the high-speed awesomeness is the development of what Samsung claims is the world's first micro beaming forming control technology that can adapt to changes in the environment in 1/3000th of a second.
That's pretty fast.
Yep, and that isn't far off technology either. At present, 60 gigahertz is an unlicensed band spectrum, with commercialization expected next year. So as soon as that bandwidth is, starts to be, populated by devices, the 802.11ad, you can start seeing these routers hitting shelves probably sometime late next year.
Yeah. Well, I'm all for it. Faster the better. That's it.
And it really, it doesn't get much faster than 4.5 gigs per second. That's really impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive. Yeah.
And by the way,
yeah,
that just goes to show you that we're talking about 4K, TV, 4K technology. It takes so much data to stream, so much, to get that kind of picture, to get that kind of quality. It just takes a couple of these, breakthroughs, quote unquote, to get the technology where it needs to be to wirelessly stream, 4K TV.
Exactly. Well,
technology will always catch up with whatever technology will put out.
You're right, because there's going to be 8K and 10K TV. They'll go on and on. You're right. We'll always need the speed. Always need it. Okay. This next story from Tech Hive really got my interest up. I probably should have led with it, but I didn't. But now I'm doing it now. I have always complained, or lamented, really, not complained, lamented over the fact that we have all this really cool technology, and we have we have the science to do some really major advanced things with our smartphones, but there's just and tablets. There's one small problem: is that the batteries that we use still cannot provide the kind of juice that we need to really do all these incredible things. So that's where we stand. We're still using lithium ion batteries, and some of the battery technology from the 1800s. But there it is. It's so all of a sudden I say, why can't they come out with some sort of quantum leap in battery technology? And I keep hearing the same thing. Oh, we're up against certain barriers, and they can't be done. And there's the laws of physics and this and that. Well, evidently, according to Tech Hive, it looks like they've done it. That breakthrough that we've been looking for with batteries. According to this story, now I just hope that we did stories like this in the past. NEC had this amazing battery about 7 years ago that was going to blow everything out of the water, and I never heard anything about it again. So I'm hoping that this doesn't go away. But they're saying, according to the story, that the breakthrough batteries last, get this, 20 years and charge 70% in 2 minutes.
Okay, just at face value.
Yeah.
That sounds too good to be true.
No, I don't. But so over the years, according to this story, consumer electronics have improved in almost every way, becoming thinner, lighter, and more pixel-packed, all while increasing exponentially in performance. But beating at the heart of these mobile devices and even electric cars is a technology that hasn't kept up with the rapid pace of innovation. Batteries. That's what I've been saying. specifically lithium-ion batteries. I mean, that's the state of the art with our battery technology today. Battery tech is a limiting factor in the design of many of today's technologies. This is what I've been saying for years, been ranting about it. But researchers at the Nanyang Technology University say they've discovered a way to build a better battery. However, a battery that charges in mere minutes and lasts an amazing 20 years. So the next thing on this is why this matters. Duh. But okay, why this matters. If these batteries begin trickling into mass production, they could be two of the biggest irritants in today's mobile electronics: long charging times and forced obsolescence. This is very true. The benefits of fast charging needs no explanation. Remember fuel cells? Fuel cells was going to save us. Remember you could plug these things in a little thing, and the fuel cells would charge like in a matter of minutes. All right. Well, anyway, haven't heard from those anything either. The benefits of fast charging needs no explanation, but many of today's smartphones and tablets won't let you raise, essentially forcing you to buy a new device when the lithium-ion battery inside starts to fade after 500 or so charges. A battery that lasts 20 years would dramatically change how long people hang onto their smartphones, especially with the mobile industry's recent trend of decoupling hardware fees from service subscriptions. Together, the combo could further reduce the 2-year upgrade cycle so common in the mobile industry today. So these things are called titanium dioxide nanotubes. Specifically, the NTU researchers claim that this new battery technology has a whopping 10,000 cycle lifespan, meaning you can charge a battery 10,000 times before its max charge starts to reduce. Enabling the nifty new tricks doesn't require a full re-imaging of how we design batteries either. The researchers replaced the graphite used in the anode of lithium-ion batteries with a gel made from titanium dioxide nanotubes, 1,000 times thinner than the diameter of a human hair. Using these tiny titanium dioxide nanotubes rather than graphite also speeds how quickly electrons and ions flow in and out of the battery by ditching an energy-slowing additive needed in today's batteries. Sounds like they're reducing the friction. The NTU researchers say their battery charges far faster than traditional lithium-ion batteries, going from empty to a 70% charge in just 2 minutes. Look at that, 2 minutes. Now, the NTU associate professor Chang, I can't pronounce his last name, the inventor of the titanium dioxide gel, says batteries built with it could hit the market within 2 years, with an unnamed company already licensing the technology. The Nanyang Technology University press release has more details about the technical aspects of the discovery if you're interested, and that's all they're saying. You know, you would think Duracell and Eveready would be all over this. Would you not think so?
You know, they're big, but I'm not sure how big. Like I'm sure they went to whoever had the most money, and I don't know if, you know, Energizer, Duracell, what have you. I'm not sure if they had the most money or if maybe even the mobile tech companies that we always talk about, you know, the ones who are actually paying to build these smartphones that are going into everyone's pockets, they might have the most money. So, you know, yeah, you might be able to see these recharge batteries in, you know, in AA's and Duracells and what have you, but you could also see them in handheld technology before any of that.
Yeah. Now, again, we're hearing, oh, it's going to be 2 years. I just hope this doesn't fade away. Now, we got to make a mental note of this one because, again, it was NEC. I'm pretty sure the NEC, the corporation, announced the battery. This was like 10 years ago. That was going to revolutionize battery technology. We did the story. Never heard a peep from them again, ever. So, hopefully, this is something that's going to, you know, and it doesn't, you know, it's not like, you know, you hear about automobiles that run on water and then you never hear from them again. You know, hopefully that this is something that has some validity and we're going to actually see this happen. and this will make it, into consumer devices. But there you go.
I figure that batteries that that we hear about that are great and they sound great in theory or in the lab, and then they don't get produced, there has to be some reason why they don't get into people's hands, and that has to be either it doesn't work when scaled up to mass production, it's not as viable as first thought in the lab, or just wasn't or it had like a risk of catastrophic failure and exploding. It has to be one of those reasons that something so great isn't coming to fruition. So it's not always it's not always those reasons. You're upset. Imagine the people who are developing it and it's not coming to market. They must be way more upset.
Yeah. All right. Well, what else could it be? I mean, they come out with this thing, and then is it works well in the lab, but it doesn't work in real life, and it fades into oblivion. I mean, I'm just trying to find out what would cause these things to happen.
Could be.
Could be. All right. Well, we're gonna mark it. Let's see if it happens. Okay.
All right.
All right.
The internet is such a weird place, and it's weird that we actually, work on the internet or from the internet, because I was just looking up beef Wellington recipes. So let's get back to tech news. And sorry about the noise. 1 second.
Oh, okay. It sounds to me like one of the big furry dogs has made an appearance, and so Ben. Well, I'll tell you. Well, while Ben.
Wait. We're good. Yeah, sorry. Zach was having a dream and he was barking at. He was barking at whoever he was. So unfortunately, I had to wake him up. And
Okay.
but yeah. So if you remember, last week, 2 weeks ago, I think, Microsoft announced that they bought Minecraft.
Yes, I remember that. Huge
for the paltry sum of $2.5 billion.
And then the guy's leaving. Exactly.
Yeah, and the CEO is indeed leaving. So now here's the first we're hearing about what just what that means. This one again from Macs and PC, and it's an effort to port Minecraft to the Windows Phone is already happening.
Wow.
Month or so, Microsoft's $2.5 billion acquisition of Minecraft has spawned many debates and about its merits and long-term viability. The long-term strategic rationale for the deal may not be readily apparent, if one exists at all, but it's probably safe to say that bringing Minecraft to the Windows Phone is the immediate objective, a fact that is borne out by a recent tweet by the game's lead developer, Jens Bergenstein. Yeah. She said on Friday to Twitter to confirm that an ongoing effort to port Minecraft to the Windows Phone. In fact, a working but far from perfect port already exists. Yes, Minecraft Pocket Edition is coming to the Windows Phone. The port runs, but there's still much to do before their release. So, there's your answer to why Microsoft is willing to spend $2.5 billion, and if you are one of the few, the lucky, and the proud people to own a Windows Phone, you could soon be getting, maybe not free, maybe a small fee, but Minecraft on your phone.
Now, do you think that's going to be enough justification for people just to buy a phone just for Minecraft in their pocket?
I think if Windows can make their phone out to be a gaming phone, because right now there are no gaming phones. There are phones that you can, like, we haven't really heard of a big game on the phone since Angry Birds.
Okay.
Angry Birds, Flappy Bird, that kind of thing. Like that, those were like the last big games, and they were just fun little apps to do while you were waiting around. Minecraft on a phone could be the start of Microsoft actually finding its niche in the phone market. Because right now, let's face it, it's just playing third banana to Android and Apple. It barely has any market share.
Well, they are trying. I mean, they came up with Cortana, which was cool, but.
Yeah, it's. I mean, again, they're trying. And Cortana is actually, really great. She's easy to use and she sounds very natural. But it's going to take more than just Cortana. It's going to take Windows to find.
They need a killer
what they
app.
can do.
They need a killer app for the phone that you can't get on any other phone. You're right.
not so much killer app. They need a killer series of app, because switching phones, you know, iPhones and Android phones, they have their markets really well established.
Yeah.
So, you know, just one app isn't going to be enough. It's, you know, back when smartphone adoption was just happening, you know, when people were going from dumb phones to smartphones, you know, that's when you could have your killer app. That's when you could say, okay, yeah, you know, you could choose them or you could choose us because we have this really cool app. Everyone already has smartphones now. You know, they aren't choosing that one app. They're choosing from a whole, you know, the whole package.
Yeah, but if there's only one phone that you can get something that, you know, a particular application on, and you can't get it anywhere else except in that one phone.
And again, that worked when, you know, you were first choosing your smartphone.
Yeah,
but people aren't first choosing smartphones anymore.
Well, but now maybe they're coming to renew. Maybe they'll say, you know, I'm going to get rid of that phone and get because I really want Minecraft on my smartphone, and so I'm going to get a Windows phone and I'm going to chuck my iPhone or my Android phone just for that application.
I think, you know, Minecraft is a step in the right direction, but they're going to have to, you know, maybe even get developers on board and try to get more games put on it.
Well, then you're going to have a gaming phone, as you said. It's interesting. I don't think there is a category. I don't think any phone can be called itself as a gamer's phone. There's no, not yet anyway.
No, not really. You know, there were plenty of gaming peripherals already. You know, between the NVIDIA Shield and the Game Boy, you know, from Nintendo. But a gaming phone? No, not really.
You know, Grayson Hamilton's going to be on the show tomorrow night. It's our Gamer Tuesday show. So
yeah, that's right.
Maybe we can talk to him about that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk to him about the whole Minecraft thing because that, you know, has been hotly debated, as this article pointed out, all over the internet. So.
Okay. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about an umbrella that is the first innovation in umbrellas in over 3,000 years. Now, that has to be some sort of an umbrella, right? Well, evidently, there is one that promises to do away with the cloth in an umbrella, with the metal ribs in the umbrella, yet it's still protect you from the rain. How does it do that? Well, we're going to tell you when we come back. That's just one of the stories that we do. Of course, we're going to have a brand new News Tips Bulletin review from Marty Winston. We're going to find out how he says hello. Okay.
Yeah, I have a feeling you already know.
I do. I cheated. But, you know, hey, I'm the host of the show. I'm entitled. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. Ben and I will be right back with stories and more right after these words. Don't go anywhere.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MyTV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MyTV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part? The pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV.
Hello, this is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the TomTom Go 600. As far as we know, the TomTom Go 600 is the first aftermarket navigator that includes severe weather conditions among the highway hazard warnings it presents with TomTom traffic updates linked from its companion smartphone app. Lifetime maps and lifetime traffic updates are included, and that's nice. Some of its features would be a lot nicer if they worked better. It offers 3D maps that include buildings and landmarks, but not everywhere. It tells you how far before you need to turn, but doesn't name the street until you're almost there. You can issue voice commands, but they're not reliable enough to allow hands-free navigation while driving. It displays the current speed and your current speed limit, but sometimes inaccurately. And its overspeed warnings begin at about 2 miles an hour over the current limit and sound or before the limit. We have not been able to find a user setting to loosen that at all. Its route selections are sometimes indirect, involving multiple stops and turns with little or no improvement to travel time. These gripes aside, when it comes to basic get-me-there routing, it certainly can get that to happen and gives you route options. Bottom line, the TomTom Go 600 is a capable navigator with a major winter driving plus in its weather hazard warnings. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Again, Marty Winston. I enjoyed how he said hello that time.
I did too. Yes, it was.
All right. Yeah, so Computer America, we're doing computer technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. And, Craig really kind of...
It's my turn to do the next story?
Yeah, it's Craig's turn. He really talked up the story about an umbrella that has no umbrella.
That's right. This is from CNET, and actually I reported on this. It was like 2 years ago. It had to be at least 2 years, and it was just a concept. And evidently, it's now fundraising on Kickstarter. This umbrella holds off the rain with a force field of air. Okay. It promises to do away with those pesky metal ribs in favor of a dome of jetted air. And they're calling it the first major evolution of the umbrella in thousands of years. He says most estimates put the invention of the umbrella at over 3,000 years ago. Since that time, not a lot has changed in its basic design. It's still some kind of ribbed cage cover in some kind of fabric. You know, of course they had the self-opening, and then they have the self-opening and self-closing, and they have them self-open and close. I've seen both of those. You just push a button; it goes both ways. It's kind of cool. But basically, he's right. They haven't really changed in that. Well, this new air umbrella is now making a run on Kickstarter. However, does away with the design in favor of a cone of jetted air. It promises to keep the rain away. Okay. That might sound unlikely, but there is a demonstration video below on this story here that would make you think the gizmo could really work, at least for rainstorms that fall shy of monsoon strength. Well, if you got one with monsoon strength, guess what? Your regular umbrella ain't gonna work either. It's gonna fold up.
You might get wet.
Yeah, you might get wet. Okay, so there. Okay. Now, by the way, and they do have umbrellas that are even windproof. If the wind is, they have these little slits. But if it even gets so powerful, it doesn't break the umbrella. It reverses itself, and you just pull it back, and it goes normal. I mean, they got some really cool umbrellas out there. But anyway, nothing like this. This isn't the first time we've seen this kind. Here it is. We reported on an air umbrella concept from a Korean designer. I remember that. So that's right. But it seems like this was never actually produced. Okay, well, the new umbrella on Kickstarter from designers in Nanjing, China, may meet the same fate. At this point, it's only raised about $4,000 of its $10,000 goal within 11 days left to the campaign. Still, if the project does get funded, it could be a nifty device. For one, it would eliminate that annoying inside-out thing normal umbrellas do in high winds. It would also keep you from poking out someone's eye with those dagger-like tips that hang out from the edges of traditional umbrellas. What I always wondered about this is that the battery power. If this is going to produce such a force of wind, you're going to have to need a lot of battery power. Now, it looks like it'll hold, maybe several D cells because it's got this long tube, which is kind of natural. But so if you got like 10 or 15 D cell batteries in there, maybe you can get enough, get it to work long enough. Air Umbrella says there are going to be 3 versions of the device. Version A measures 30 centimeters, about a foot long, and for some reason it's intended for women. Version B is about 20 inches long, and a version C is scalable, going from 50 centimeters to 80 centimeters, which is about 31 inches. The battery life on the umbrellas isn't the most impressive. There we go again. Version A gets 15 minutes, while B and C get 30 minutes. So they should be good enough for short darts here and there, but not for long romantic strolls in the rain. I don't know if you'd want to use this for a long romantic stroll in the rain anyway.
Nice. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, well, yeah. Right now, you can still get in on the early bird deals. Version A is priced at about $88. B is going for about $98, and C is $108. The pledge and pricing structure is still a bit confusing on the Kickstarter page, but it looks like full retail pricing will range from $128 to $148. The makers are promising delivery in December of 2005, so you'd better hold on to your traditional umbrella for the next round of April showers.
2015, by the way.
2015? Yeah. Now they have a video here.
This Air Umbrella.
Which I really want to watch this video here, but they're going to.
Yeah, they don't show you the actual use of it until the very end, and I actually checked it out. The torrential downpour that you're thinking of, it probably won't hold all of that back.
Yeah.
But for not even like a light rain, like a pretty decent rain,
yeah,
this will actually keep it off.
You think so?
Yeah, for sure.
I watched the end of the video myself just to see it. It does look. It looks. It's a. I think it's a graphic image. It's not an actual image of it working. But
no, it's an actual image of it working. You didn't watch the proper end of the video.
Yeah, I watched it. It
should be about a minute, minute 40 in, minute 30 in.
Yeah, it looked okay. Well, maybe.
It's for a decent rain and going between your front door to your car or your car to somewhere else. Mm-hmm. I think this thing would be I would actually like it, because there's nothing worse than having an umbrella and getting it into your car, holding it out and trying to collapse it while you're sitting in your car. And with this thing, you just kind of point it and then you whip it in real quick. Like, it's not, there's no big canopy to deal with.
Yeah, that's very true.
So having this in your car, I think, would be great for those rainy occasions.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see, really, if it's going to do what they say what it does. But I'm just looking at the video of it again. Okay. It's interesting. It would be cool. It would be, even if it worked, it would just be cool just to whip that thing out and be and walk with it in a rainstorm. It would get a lot of attention, obviously. Everybody would want to know where you got it.
Oh yeah, that's another thing I want to mention about it. It is a jerk.
It is what?
A jerk, like a mean thing.
How do you figure?
It is a mean product because they actually show it in use with the rain, and because it's essentially it's essentially blowing the rain away from you. Mm-hmm. If you're using this thing and you're walking down a crowded sidewalk, it's whipping all of that water
to other
all
people
over the place around you. So everyone else around you walking with their normal umbrellas, you are going to get them soaked.
Yeah.
Because it's blowing all this water, at like a sideways direction. So probably not the best if you're going to use it somewhere where people are also going to be, because it blows the water everywhere.
I'm just looking at a picture of, it looks like beef Wellington, and that looks really, really good. It was a link you put up there. What is that? Yeah. That looks great. What is that?
That's the picture I just came just on the internet, and I got a picture of beef Wellington. It's crazy.
It looks delicious.
I know. It's crazy.
You just made me hungry.
You're welcome. All right. Well, you know what? Let's not use that one. How about oil refineries? Well, I'm sorry, oil rigs, not refineries, oil rigs.
Okay.
how they're actually useful for something other than pumping oil out of the ocean floor.
Okay, how are they used?
Yeah, I know, and it's not often that you get good publicity for oil rigs,
No.
but here's a story nonetheless about how they're doing some good. So this one from Ars Technica, and California's most productive fisheries are indeed offshore oil rigs. One of the most unusual recent developments in ocean conservation has been the use of artificial reefs. Old ships and even old subway cars have been used to create environments for fish to congregate in areas of the seafloor that are otherwise featureless. But it's not clear whether these habitats provide a place for fish to gather or actually boost the fish population in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a new study looked at the productivity of different sort of artificial reef. The oil and natural gas rigs that dot the state's coastline. The report finds that oil rigs are the most productive fisheries ever measured, not only in California but in the entire world. The report notes that many of these platforms will be obsolete over the coming decades, and we might want to think about what we do when we're done using them for their original purposes. There are different ways of measuring an ecosystem productivity. One is primary productivity, or how much carbon dioxide is converted into useful organic molecules by plants and other organisms. Then there's secondary, and they said that the authors were interested in fish, so they focused on the secondary one. The numbers were staggering. The most productive place in the scientific literature, a reef in Tahiti and an estuary in Louisiana, saw an annual productivity of about 75 grams for each square meter. The lowest the oil rigs came were 105 per square meter, and the highest was nearly 900. The authors were even being conservative by not including any fish more than a couple of meters from the structure, which ignores the entire column enclosed by the rig's leggings. So, Craig.
Yes.
That's crazy, right? I mean, they have natural reefs, and they have estuaries in Louisiana, both, popular places for fish.
But the oil rigs are doing more?
The oil rigs are going, if not 50% better, pretty much, 10 times better.
But how can they monetize that? I mean, can fishing boats go and just start fishing around the world?
Since these studies are being done by people who actually want to preserve the ocean, and it's not so much for monetizing it; it's for the overall health of the environment.
So they're saying not healthy?
I'm saying, or it's no secret that there are less fish in the ocean than there have been, otherwise.
Yeah.
The oceans are being, over harvested. So any way that and right now they're putting in, man-made reefs, by sinking battleships. They're sinking other things, making artificial reefs.
So the only way to do it is put in more oil rigs, and we'll restock the oceans with fish, is what they're saying.
Not quite. What's happening is, they're making the artificial reefs, and they're still unsure if they're working or not. But one thing is for sure is that around oil rigs, maybe just because they've been put out there, and they're so, they're all over the place, and they're so far spread out that they're actually, kind of like landmarks for fish. And they're doing a really good job of congregating fish and showing that fish, like to, reproduce around there.
Yeah. Maybe it's like a shopping mall for fish.
You joke, but it could just be that. It could be all the fish in the area are just coming to that area, and they're being counted.
Right.
Although the numbers kind of don't agree with that. The numbers kind of say, well, there's a lot of action going on here, and the oil rigs are actually providing a safe haven for fish to repopulate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's some rare good publicity for oil rigs.
Okay, and it's extremely rare because they never get good publicity.
No, they have very bad image.
I'll tell you what. I want to do the story here with this tiny box from Wired. It's a little thing. It can't be more than the size of a, like a phone jack that you plug in the wall. You see, it's called it's called an Ananobox. And you know what? What would you think a box that's called an Ananobox does?
I think it has a little animal called an Anana in it.
Yeah, no, that's Anaconda. With this tiny box, you can anonymize everything you do online. Everything you do. So how's it different than a VPN network? Evidently, it's different. According to this story from Wired, no tool in existence protects your anonymity on the web better than the software Tor, which encrypts internet traffic and bounces it through random computers around the world. But for guarding anything other than web browsing, Tor has required a mixture of finicky technical setups and software tweaks. Now, routing all your traffic through Tor may be as simple as putting a portable hardware condom on your Ethernet, literally. Today, a group of privacy-focused developers plan to launch a Kickstarter campaign for Ananobox. It's a $45 open-source router that automatically directs all data that connects to it by Ethernet or Wi-Fi through the Tor network, hiding the user's IP address and skirting censorship. It's also small enough to hide two in a pack of cigarettes. Ananobox's tiny size means users can carry the device with them anywhere, plugging it into an office Ethernet cable to do sensitive work, or in a cyber cafe in China to evade the Great Firewall. The result, if Ananobox fulfills its security promises, is that it could become significantly easier to anonymize all your traffic with Tor, not just web browsing, but email, instant messaging, file sharing, and all the other miscellaneous digital exhaust that your computer leaves behind online. They're quoted as saying, now all your programs, no matter what you do on your computer, are routed over the Tor network. Okay. This is one of the developers. He says it was built with the intention of making Tor easier to use, not just for the software's Western fans, but for those who really needed more internet repressive regimes. It was important to us that it be portable and small, something you can easily conceal or even throw away if you have to get rid of it. And it only costs $45. Now, Ananobox is by no means the first project to attempt to integrate Tor directly into a router, but they argue it will strike the best balance yet of cheapness, easy setup, size, and security. Tor in a box projects like Tor Router and Portal, for instance, require the user to replace the software on a stock router. Another project called Onion Pie is designed to be built one from a kit and costs roughly twice as much as Ananobox. So in terms of consumer friendliness, the closest device yet to a plug-and-play Tor router has been SafePlug, which is a $49 variant of a Pogo plug router modified to route all traffic over Tor. But at more than twice the size, the SafePlug really isn't nearly as portable as the Ananobox. And it's also been criticized for security flaws. Okay. So now Ananobox's security hasn't been yet audited for those sorts of flaws, but its creators point out that it will be entirely open source, so its code can be more easily scrutinized for errors and fixed if necessary. So, basically, that's the story. It goes on, that they're watching, about it, and that this is built for civil disobedience, and but the idea here is it's intended to work in the most sensitive international situations. It uses micro USB as a power source. So the ultimate goal, he says, is to bring Tor to a new audience that has never before had access to its protections. That's basically it. He says this isn't about just making things easier for people who use Tor now, but also those who would like to use Tor but can't for whatever reasons. Those are the people we want to help. There, it's called Ananobox. It's still a Kickstarter project, but it looks really simple. Looks really easy to use.
Devices like this are always going to have that whole, why do you need to be so safe with your data? What are you doing that's so bad that you don't want to track, that you don't want anything? And it's always, well, yep, you must be a criminal then, because you need something like this. Which is not always, which is most of the time not the case. Sure, criminals definitely do things like this to protect their, to cover their tracks and that kind of thing. But some people, they just don't want to be tracked at all whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So devices like this are very, very useful in that endeavor.
Now, how is this different than use like something like ProXPN or something? How is this different, really?
I believe this would go even further than a simple, rerouting and masking.
Okay.
This would be like, whereas, no, I can't use that analogy. This is public on air stuff. This is like if you're working with with food preparation, because I'm still on Beef Wellington.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just wearing, instead of just washing your hands with dish soap, this would be like dipping your hands in alcohol and burning it, and then scrubbing your hands, and just it's a step and beyond what a simple ProXPN does.
Yeah, I wonder what Charles Tindall would think of something like this.
I think he'd be all for it.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, maybe you can explain it too. But I have to. I'm going to go to the Kickstarter website after the show and look at it and see if I get some more information about this.
See, the great thing about Kickstarter is, if people want it to be funded by the community, then they have to break it down into simple terms. They can't just leave things that are, oh, don't worry about it, it's very technical, but you should still spend money on it anyways. Kickstarter makes it real important to break it down in very small, simple words. If you're interested in something like this.
Yeah. According to some of the comments here about reading, says the person who wrote this article never lived in China. He says Tor never worked for anybody in Beijing. It's interesting. So evidently they're all over the Tor network in China. So maybe this wouldn't work.
Although what I have heard is that Tor is in fact one of the safest things out there, regardless of what happens in China. Because China is actually a special case because their internet is provided by the government. So they kind of own everything from beginning to end.
Well, I'm looking forward to the next movie that he's coming out with. The Marvel movie, Thor. So.
Oh, Thor. Got it. Not funny. Moving on. This next story from Engadget. Flickr. They host images. Wants to turn your photos into wall-worthy art.
Really?
Yep. You've probably seen websites that turn your digital photos into posters and other real-world art, but they're typically separate from the photo sites you use.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be?
What do we have? We had him on the show. What was the one that took your photos and made wall art out of it? Gee.
Oh, that was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while, and we had him on. And
yes, we even had them on here at Computer America.
Yep.
Search through the archives, you can find it. But Flickr clearly thinks. But wouldn't it be nice if you could use a larger? If you could order those large prints on a whim while browsing your albums. Flickr clearly thinks so, as it has just launched a new wall art service that converts any of your photos into board-mounted decor that should be worthy of your living room. You can change the size to match the space you want to fill, up to 20 to 30 inches. Up to 20 by 30 inches. And there's a wraparound canvas option if you're aiming for a slightly more dramatic effect, but just choose those pics carefully. Your house guests might not see the artistic merit behind immortalizing your latest selfie.
Zazzle, by the way, was the name of the thing. And Zazzle offered the 20 by 30 is not anywhere near. Zazzle ordered like 60 by 100. It was huge. It was like a really larger sizes. So obviously, Zazzle still has the larger sizes available to them.
Yes, correct. But Zazzle also will, pretty much print anything on anything. This is more wall art. Zazzle will put it on, cell phone cases. They'll put it on they'll put it on pillows, shirts, posters, anything.
But they also have wall art. Have wall art.
Yes, exactly. But Flickr, that's where you keep your photos anyway. So that's where you'll find it. And if on a whim you can get it from the same website that you're currently hosting from, you can order it now. So check it out, Flickr. If you use it. New feature just added.
There it goes. All right. Do we have time for any more stories, or are we pretty much out? If we have to save some of these for tomorrow because we got some really good stories here. Like AT&T travel plan lets you text as much as you want. A Mailbox for Mac beta is now open to all. I mean, they got some really interesting stories here. Also, Netflix 4K content to cost subscribers an extra $3 a month if you want 4K content from Netflix. That's not so bad.
Might be worth it.
Yeah, I would think that's a good deal. All right, well, let's see. Coming up tomorrow.
$3 extra.
$3. That's
now
it.
imagine if you had a cable service from, Comcast, DirecTV, Dish, AT&T, whoever you get your cable from.
Yeah.
Now imagine if you got added onto your package, hi, I would like the 4K package, please. How much do you think you'd spend?
Yeah, a lot more.
On the orders of $20 to $30 extra a month for
Yeah.
4K content.
Not $3 like Netflix is planning to do.
Nope.
Nope. Netflix has always been less expensive, too.
Yep.
Hey, tomorrow it's going to be our Gamer Tuesday show with Grayson Hamilton, our Computer America correspondent, who is going to. And now, what are some of the hot topics that's coming out? It's the newest game. What was it we were just talking about? He's going to be talking about the new games. Not Destiny, but it was another one.
There was Destiny. Rise of Rome just came out for PC.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, there's plenty to talk about.
Plenty to talk about, and we're going to do that on our Gamer Tuesday show. And again, thanks to Joe Moriarty from Content Raven. I didn't make any jokes with that last name, but that's an unusual Moriarty from.
I've heard it before.
Sherlock Holmes. He was the evil.
90 seconds.
He was the bad.
That
guy.
would be it.
Yeah, that was his nemesis. That was his arch nemesis, Moriarty. Anyway, Joe Moriarty again with Content Raven. Thanks again. It was a really good interview. Thank you for being here on the show. And as I said, tomorrow night it's going to be Gamer Tuesday in both hours. Grayson Hamilton, our Computer America gaming correspondent, is going to be here with us talking about the latest happening in the world of games, computer games here on the show. Just a quick
60 seconds.
Also, on the show after that, Intel is going to be here in the first hour, and then David Perry is going to be with us here on Wednesday night in the second hour. Cybersecurity Month. So who else is better qualified than our good friend David Perry from F-Secure? Going to be joining us and talking about all the things you can do to keep yourself safe and talk about some of the F-Secure products. That'll be on Wednesday night. Our All Linux show coming up on Thursday night with Larry Bushy. What's the topic going to be? I can't find it. I'm out of time. Anyway, if you get the show reminder, you'll know what that is. Anyway, we're so glad that you were here with us tomorrow night, and Ben and I will see you tomorrow night with Grayson Hamilton. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy.
10 seconds.
We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, and thanks again for all of you out there watching us on our live Computer America video streaming page. As I said, tomorrow's our Gamer Tuesday night. You don't want to miss that, and we'll see you then. So good night, everybody.
Good night.